very early we did realize that in a consultancy business we would be busy building brands for other companies and we will not really be able to build a solid asset for ourselves. So today when it comes to glutathione, our brand Glutone is the number one brand. We are pioneers of glutathione in the country.
You had experience about something you always wanted to pursue, and then you ventured out into something, but then pivoted into something else, and now it's like a full-fledged grown-up company.
What triggered me, I would say, probably that's my conditioning, that's my nature or my character. Today I can very confidently say that one wrong hiring, you are at least 1 year back. Okay,
You're talking about one hiring.
One hiring will pull you 1 year back. I was backed by my family, to support me both on financial front as well as at that point of time, my father was working in, so I had that kind of a security that in case if something goes wrong, I would give myself a 3 to 5 years of chance to try my hands-on entrepreneurship, to build a venture which I was really looking for building up through my life, and that was my dream to do something. So 2 years of time, we became the third largest brand of vitamin C.
Wow.
Okay. In the last 10 years of entrepreneurship, 10 years plus now, I would say, there has been many instances where we could have been devastated and destroyed. People do keep saying that you should avoid getting into partnership. However, we believe in the philosophy called you enjoy the similarities, respect the differences, and that's what we have been doing. Pharmaceutical company did very well. That's not the fact. In fact, the segment that we are into, dermatology, was one of the most hit segment during COVID period.
I mean, you are a go-getter, right?
Yeah.
What exactly is the mindset that you train yourself? Because this is what an entrepreneur would like to have as a armor for himself.
Success and failure is part and parcel of life, but how you approach your idea is very, very important.
Right.
At Adroit, we believe in power of innovation. So you have to have that differentiation in your idea. If you try to go for a Me Too route, chances of you kind of not making it big is
very common.
Very, 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 very high. India has to build up. We have to have multiple entrepreneurs to come in. That we should have multiple platforms where their basic doubts would be clarified.
And
yes.
Now that you build it into a 50 crore company, eventually, is there a plan in action to get in a IPO? Is that like kind of the final thing wherein you want Adroit Biomed to be like a listed company? Welcome friends to another episode of podcast Inspire with me, Pratik Pai. Today we have Sushant Raorane, Director of Adroit Biomed. Thanks for coming to the show, Sushant. It's been a pleasure having you. I've been trying to get in touch with you for the last few months, right? And finally I got that day that you're there on this podcast. Just to give you a brief introduction, I know Sushant from my childhood because we used to stay in the same building, right? And you have seen me grow because you are elder to us, and we used to play cricket together. And I did know about you that you were completely a pharmacy, and I think post that you moved out of Thane. I'm not too sure where, but then even I moved out of Thane. I went to Dubai after my engineering and everything. Cut to back in 2020 odd, I think we met in a seminar. It was like a closed community wherein I got in front of you, and I was like surprised to know Sushant Raorane is director of a company. And that actually kind of made me like, because now that I've started this podcast and you are like on my top list that I want to have that discussion, like what happened? I mean, what exactly went and made you take that leap of faith, because you started something of your own, and now that you are into Adroit Biomed, just let's take up the discussion. I mean, how has life been for you, and how was your journey post that? I mean, when you moved out of Thane and now that you are back in Thane, but you are a director of Adroit Biomed. Yeah.
Right. First of all, Pratik, thank you very much for having me on your show. When you shared this with me that you have started a podcast, I couldn't resist myself. And I was very excited when I got your invitation to be on your show and share my experience. So thank you very much for having me on your show. Yes, I strongly remember our childhood days where we used to play cricket together.
Right.
And back then, breaking those windows and running here and there, helter skelter, was really great
Right.
fun.
Yes.
But I personally feel that, the childhood that we spent together was one of the best moment of our life, because that was the time where actually, we were inculcated with those value system
Right.
of what's right, what's wrong, and, what all things we should follow in.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe those value system which we got early in our life has been instrumental in building up our career.
Right.
I strongly remember, and I keep talking about this quite often, that, till my 10th grade, I never ventured out of Kalwa, Thane. And,
yeah. Everybody for that matter.
yeah. And when I passed my grade 10th, I told my parents that I don't want to stay in Thane anymore. I want to move out, and that's where I could convince my parents to help me get admission into Somaya College
Nice.
and Mode of Thane.
Okay.
So I did my junior college with Somaya, 11th, 12th, and then I pursued my B Pharmacy.
Mm-hmm.
I got admission in Bharati Vidyapit College of Pharmacy.
Just to stop you there, why exactly B Pharmacy? I mean, what actually? Because everybody wanted to be like an engineer or doctor,
Right.
but then B Pharm is something that
As you
was
rightly
not
said,
kind
that,
of.
everybody
yeah.
wants to be either an engineer or a doctor. But, I wanted to be a doctor, but unfortunately could not get enough marks to get me a seat into MBBS. And that's where my second choice obvious was to do my B Pharmacy.
Okay.
Even that was one of the reason. However, my mother was working with a pharmaceutical company.
Okay.
So I had experience of visiting formulation plant, and that really, excited me about medicine. Okay. So that's where I thought that I should pursue B Pharmacy, and got into Bharati Vidyapit.
Nice.
I did my pharmacy, and then I wanted to do my MBA.
Okay.
So I pursued my MBA, and after 2 years of stint, after 2 years of MBA, I got into industry.
Mm-hmm.
My first assignment was with Elder Pharmaceutical Industries, into the generic business. I did good for 2 years, but then I really don't want it to be in I don't want it to be in the generic business for too long, and that's where I shifted from Elder, and I moved to Pune.
Okay. Nice.
The reason to move to Pune was very specific. I wanted to work with an industry stalwart by the name Mr. Sainath Iyer.
Okay.
Sai Boss happened to be my first mentor, and I had heard a lot about him, about his analytical ability, about his strategizing ability when it comes to pharma business, and I looked forward to work with him. So that's where I took this informed decision of moving from Mumbai, go to Pune, worked with him for 2 years. And I would say today, when I look back things retrospectively, that was the best decision of my life.
Nice.
Because with Sai Boss, I got to learn a lot of things, hands-on, which to a greater extent, I would say, had shaped in my professional career. So I worked for 2 years in Pune. Wanted to come back to Mumbai, and that's where I got opportunity to work for Piramal Healthcare.
Right.
Piramal was my stint with dermatology. That's where way back in 2007, my stint into dermatology started in. Okay. Piramal, I got to work for, but my stint with Piramal was for 5 years, wherein 2 years was with Piramal and then 3 years with Abbott. Abbott took over Piramal Healthcare business, domestic derm farm business.
Nice.
And that's where, the same company, how it looks when it is into MNC culture versus an Indian MNC culture. Okay.
What was the difference? Can you just explain? I mean, what difference was that between an MNC and an Indian company?
The approach is very different. The systems and policies which Piramal had and which Abbott had was very different. I would not say what was right and what was wrong, but the same piece of cake, would look very differently when you look from two different angles.
Okay.
So that's exactly what I got to kind of observe and learn.
And which one did you like more?
Both had its own merits and demerits.
Okay.
So I would not really say like the stint with Piramal was good or the stint with Abbott was good, but I would say the culture was very different when it was managed by Piramals.
Okay.
The value system which Piramals had for the business was very different, and it was quite exciting. In fact, I would say a lot of that learning which I had, especially in terms of culture,
Okay.
organization culture, which I experienced during Piramal, I'm still pursuing it in my Adroit.
Exactly. I was about to ask you, like, did that kind of condition you or influence you to
Absolutely.
build that culture into your organization?
Yes,
Hence the
yes.
question, like, because
Absolutely, yeah,
that
yeah.
definitely, because the culture makes or breaks the organization,
Absolutely.
definitely, right? So coming back to the point where you ventured out into Adroit Biomed, why exactly the idea of getting into entrepreneurship, come in picture, because you are happy with your job. I think you're doing good in Abbott. Then how come you moved out of job and you wanted get into Adroit Biomed? Why? What exactly made you take that leap of faith?
Say I always had this passion to start something on my own. Okay, I always wanted to give myself an entrepreneurial, a stint, or I would say a chance.
So what exactly influenced you to take that decision? Because that is not something happens impulsively.
Yeah.
It is some that might be some kind of an trigger or some kind of an instance that might have like motivated you to take and enter into entrepreneurship.
Right.
So what was that for you?
See, right from my B school days, I always wanted to give myself an entrepreneur's, chance to be an entrepreneur.
Okay.
While I was working with Piramal Abbott, I got an overall exposure, and I got to work across different functional departments. I was feeling confident that probably this is the right time for me to plunge into entrepreneurship.
Okay.
And even at that point of time, if you look at, I was backed by my family, to support me both on financial front as well as at that point of time, my father was working in, so I had that kind of a security that in case if something goes wrong, I have that support from my parents who will kind of help me manage my expenses. And I remember at that point of time, we had this discussion that I would give myself a 3 to 5 years of chance to try my hands-on entrepreneurship, to build a venture which I was really looking for building up through my life. And that was my dream, to do something. So they said that they supported me in this decision. And
Nice.
today I feel, that was something instrumental in kind of giving me that emotional strength to be an entrepreneur and start Adroit.
Nice. How old were you when you took this decision?
So at that point of time, I was 29.
Nice.
Okay. I was at
Early,
29.
yeah. So, were you married?
Yes.
Oh, is it? Then,
Just, yeah.
and how about how did that part go for you? Like, because you were early, I think you might have got just married then.
Yeah.
And then basically taking part into entrepreneurship, like, did your family support you in terms of?
My family supported me. Okay, they always had, they've been a great support and strength for me to kind of, start something on my own and kind of, give myself an entrepreneurial chance. So
All right.
they had been a great support. Yeah.
Great. So post that, I read somewhere that it was earlier called as Adroit Digital, right?
Yes.
Then how did that transition happen from Adroit Digital to Adroit Biomed?
Yeah.
What was that about?
Okay, so when we started as a medical marketing consultancy firm.
Okay.
We were offering consultancy to various pharmaceutical companies.
Okay.
And very early, we did realize that, in a consultancy business, we would be busy building brands for other companies, and we will not really be able to build a solid asset for ourselves. And that's where, we took this decision of converting or transforming ourselves from Adroit Digital Ideas to Adroit Biomed Limited. Okay?
And you started this with Ajit, right?
Yeah.
So, even now he's one of the directors
Yes.
in the company.
Yeah.
Great. So, coming back to the part wherein you transition, basically it's like a full circle, because you had experience about something you always
Right.
wanted to pursue, and then you ventured out into something,
Right.
but then pivoted into something else, and now
Right.
it's like a full-fledged grown-up company wherein you take up, now you're like, you own a brands now,
Yeah.
right? So how does that as an organization function? Because you guys are I mean, how many employees are there in the company right
So
now?
we have 150 employees.
Wow, that's a good number.
Yeah.
And so, like you and Ajit now, because normally when you start a company with your friend or a partner, that is the kind of feedback you get from your family. यार पार्टनरशिप में मत करना, right? Because झगड़ा हो जाएगा तो कल क्या कर लोगे तुम,
Right.
या फिर तुम लोग का नहीं बना तो. So how did that venture out for you? I mean, how was your relationship with Ajit in the early days?
Right.
And now that you guys have kind of settled in, what kind of responsibilities have you shared amongst each other?
Right. So people do keep saying that you should avoid getting into partnership because that's that's I would say true in majority of the cases. However, we believe in a philosophy called what I keep saying is you enjoy the similarities, respect the differences, and that's what we have been doing, following in our professional professional venture. Okay, so we have been thrown across a lot of challenges time and again, wherein there has been a lot of differences of opinion, but we always kind of try to limit that differences to an objective, and that's that one thing has always been that what do you say one factor which has helped us in kind of building up this entire relationship.
Nice.
Yeah.
So also I was going through your company profile. There's one more person I think who is a chairperson or chairman. So
Yes.
what exactly is his role in the company?
So we have Mr. Samir Paingankar, who is chairman of our board. Okay, so in 2018 when we were looking at raising funds and we were looking out for some kind of strategic investor, we got Samir on board. So Samir had rich experience of working into different facets of pharmaceutical industry.
Okay.
And we felt that he will be of great help to us and would add value to the company. That's where we kind of got him on board, and it's been a fantastic journey since the time Samir came on board. We could really transform the company faster and could take it to the next level.
I mean, just going by the storyline that you mentioned, I can feel or I can assume that you have a very strong work ethic, right? Because you ventured out into something that you always wanted to. You always wanted to have an entrepreneurial stint in your career. You wanted to get a hands-on experience with an industry stalwart, and you ensured that you got that.
Right.
I mean, you are a go-getter, right?
Yeah.
What exactly is the mindset that you train yourself? Because that is this is what an entrepreneur would like to have as a armor for himself. Because when you take that leap of faith towards entrepreneurship, there are certain insecurities, certain fear. So did you have that kind of insecurities or fear when you tried or when you ventured out into this? And what was kind of the mindset that you made for yourself so that you pulled it across on the journey for yourself?
All right. So I never had this insecurity, but yes, I was always passionate of doing something new, innovative, exciting. While I'm a risk taker, I'm a go-getter. I always kind of calculate the risk that I'm taking into.
Okay.
So there is a very well chalked action plan which I follow in. Okay, and also I believe in risk mitigation. So those things have just planned it out, and ultimately it's all about execution. How efficiently you execute it at what point of time, and that really determines the outcome. Having said that, business is all about risk. Okay. Whereas, even though it's all about taking that risk, calculated risk, and the timing also has to be really, really important, because what is holds today might not be right tomorrow. So the timing is very, very important. And sometimes, today when I look back into my own journey, I personally feel that I was probably destined to do this.
Oh, nice.
Okay, and I keep talking about this time and again that. Bappa backs with me, and it's the Bappa's blessing which has helped me in building up Adroit as a company. Today, when the organization, I would say, is successful, I take this as those brownie points, because I always feel that miracle can happen once, miracle can happen twice, but miracle cannot happen again and again and again unless and until you are destined to do so. And probably I feel that maybe it was my life's destiny to launch Adroit and build it up
Nice.
and enjoy this roller coaster ride.
Great. I'm more than happy to know that you've made it across and kind of conquered the dream that you always wanted to have. But also, I just wanted to touch base on one point. You sound really, religious and spiritual. Like, is that something that you have been always been, or is that post? Like, you only when you ventured out into an entrepreneurship that there is Bappa's blessing with me. How does that happen for you?
I would say I'm spiritual.
Okay.
I would say that I believe in value system, and I strongly believe that it's karma which defines your destiny. Okay, through my professional as well as my entrepreneurial instinct, I have always tried to follow the value system, which I feel is one of the most important role of an entrepreneur. Okay, which is you have to be fair to everyone. You have to be on the right side of the law, on the right side of karma. Okay, and I feel that it is this approach towards the value system which kinds of guide you through your journey. Okay, it gives you that path which one has to follow in, because in the last 10 years of entrepreneurship, 10 years plus now I would say, there has been many instances where we could have been devastated and destroyed. Okay, but we sailed through, and therefore
Okay.
if you look at, I just said that I feel that it is the blessing of Bappa, okay, which has kind of guided us through the tough phase. There has been multiple cases where I strongly remember, and I keep talking about this. In the early phase of our Adroit journey, there has been instances where towards month end I used to have sleepless nights where I had to make payment to my staff the next day, and and there is no money in the account. So where I'm going to pay my team, and it's, I would say, the miracle of Bappa or blessings of Bappa, something or the other would happen. Then money used to flow in, and I was able to pay my team on time.
Nice.
And therefore I say this Bappa bats with me. There never has been any movement in the last 12 years where even a single day there was a delay in paying salary or paying through the vendors.
Right.
So,
Perfect.
so that's what, and I strongly feel that it's the value system, the ethics that we follow in our business has been instrumental in building up the organization. Through the journey, we came across many people who helped us walk that path.
Okay.
And I would say then we traveled a different path altogether. This is something which I personally feel that everybody has a role in your life.
Perfect. Yeah. You take up the good things, like you mentioned.
Yeah. And those people, they they showed us the way, they helped us walk that path, and then probably the paths got separated over a period of time. But yes, all those people I strongly remember, and I bow down to them for helping me and for helping me in building up Adroit.
That's a very generous gesture to, I think, that makes you a good entrepreneur. Coming to which, there is always this debate, and I personally ask this to everybody or anybody who owns up a company. Do you believe in leadership or do you believe in being a boss? What is your choice?
See, I personally feel that first of all, you have to be a good human being. Okay, if you have to lead a company, you have to follow those value system, those ethics. You have to be with your team through thick and thin. You have to understand their emotions. Nobody's perfect.
Right.
And every single team member of yours is looking up to you with an expectation. If you help them walk the path and help them achieve their objective, they will always be there with you. And I'm very happy and proud to share that in my head office, I've got many people who are 5 years plus in the organization.
Wow.
Okay, I've got people right from day one of organization till this period. I have people with me who are who have stood with me through this roller coaster ride in building up Adroit.
Nice.
You know, and I always feel that it is because of these people we could really build up the company to this level, and I'm sure we will be able to build it up to the next level in the coming years.
Superb.
So coming back on your question that whether you believe in being a leader or a boss, I personally feel there is no room for boss in an organization. You have to be a good leader with a kind heart to understand your team and guide them through their course of journey.
Perfect. I mean, that is what even I strongly believe in, and I was expecting the same answer from you. Thanks that we kind of have the same mindset, because I believe your employees are your biggest asset, right?
Yeah.
They actually make or break the company, because you invest your time and resources in building up, on getting them trained and everything, but it is finally them who actually are the workforces, right? And if the work organization culture that we were talking about earlier is in the right lines and the right value system is in place, those are the employees who actually kind of pull you through, and they stick with you even in your bad times. And it's the great leader or the leadership qualities that kind of define the organization and help them sail through, like you mentioned, like we need to understand the pain points.
Right.
And if we are there to address them, they know that, okay, there's somebody who is with me and can understand my issues as well.
Right.
So great point on that. Coming back to you're mentioning that you had some issues in the past with your company, but you sailed through. Can you just maybe give us an example of what exactly, did you face any issues during Corona, because that was like a downfall, but you being into pharma, that was kind of like a magical time for all the pharmaceutical companies, but you being into cosmetology, right? So how did that, how was that phase for you, like during 2020 and post that, how's the journey been for you?
So I'll break this into two parts. One is the pre-COVID era, what kind of challenges that we faced in the early phase of life, and then I'll come to the Corona period. Okay. So phase one, during the early phase of company, we were quite young back then, and we were very naive. Okay, all that we had was passion to perform, to do something on our own. Okay, but we had a limited exposure and limited experience of being an entrepreneur. Limited, or I would say no experience of being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Okay. During the professional stint, I was handling one particular domain, which was marketing and sales.
Right.
Okay. While as when you're an entrepreneur, you have to be a HR manager, you have to be finance manager, you have to be a marketer, you have to be a salesperson, you have to be operation guys,
multifaceted.
You have to practically take care of every single functional area all by yourself.
Perfect.
Okay, and how you define your rules will determine the outcome of your game.
Right.
Okay.
Perfect.
So while I had some amount of exposure in a couple of functional areas, but other things were quite new, especially the financial aspects. Okay. And many times it happens. So when you're an entrepreneur, you try to make yourself a good Excel sheets. You try to follow Excel sheets, and unfortunately, life does not follow Excel sheets. Okay.
All things look very fair and pretty on the Excel
sheet. I remember, one of my earlier investors used to tell me, Sushant, आपने तो हम कुछ चांद तारे दिखाए थे, लेकिन Excel sheet कुछ और ही बता रहे हैं. Okay. So those kind of things happen, that's exactly what life is all about. Life is all about surprises. You have different kind of challenges coming all your way every single day, and you're not prepared for it.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's exactly what I'm trying to say here is the financial planning was a major challenge. And most important thing, today when I reflect back, I feel that few things I was overestimating. चलो ये कर लेंगे. The energy and the passion
overpowered
to build
the
something,
reality.
Always kind of gives you those blind spots that this is हम इतने में कर लेंगे, इसमें कोई जुगाड़ करके कर लेंगे. But one learning that I have is whatever, मतलब जिसको जितना टाइम लगने वाला है वो लगना ही है, जिसको जितना खर्चा लगने वाला है वो लगना ही है. So everything comes with a cost tag. you do whatever you might feel, you will not be able to turn it out. Okay.
Right.
Today, I can very confidently say that, one wrong hiring, you are at least 1 year back. Okay.
You're talking about one hiring.
One hiring will pull you 1 year back. Okay. And this is when I've kind of look back, and when I kind to reconcile all the things, I feel that, this has been the case. So you can understand, no doubt, with one good hiring, you can change things quite fast. Okay. So those things have been the learning back then. And yes, we were experiencing all those things, but and all those experiences has actually helped us in kind of, building up the organization. So those things, I would not say mistakes or something like that, but yes,
Those are part and parcel of your growth journey,
one's
yeah.
entrepreneurial journey.
Right.
Yes. Now, what actually forms the core of the company? Let me talk about that, and then I'll move to your second part of the question, which is about Corona.
Right.
Okay. So at Adroit, we believe in power of innovation. Okay.
Oh, is it?
We are among the few companies who has actually kind of, unleashed the true potential of innovation. Okay. I'm very, very happy and glad to share with you that, as a company, we are among the few companies who have got new innovative molecules in the country and have built them big. Okay.
Okay.
Way back in 2014, I'll now talk about vitamin C as a molecule. Okay. You had two big players, Abbott and GSK, okay, who hold this number 1 and number 2 brands of vitamin C,
Right.
Celine and Lemsy. At that point of time, we took this decision of launching bolus dose of vitamin C. Bolus dose is high dose of vitamin C.
Okay.
So what we did, we kind of partnered with a Swiss company called Novelty Life, and we in-licensed their brand called NRC.
Okay.
And we really did big, and I'm very happy to share that, in almost 2 years of time, we became the third largest brand of vitamin C.
Wow.
Okay. So after NRC, we launched a combination of vitamin C with zinc with a brand called Escort Z. Okay. And we also could build up that brand. So in 3 to 4 years of time, we had a very significant portfolio in vitamin C.
Nice.
Okay. So that was our strength.
So all these were prescription products, or is it like OTC? Like anybody can go and buy it on the counter?
So, the business model that we follow prescription model. While these are nutraceutical supplements.
Right. Vitamin C. Yeah.
May or may not need a prescription. You can go and pick up the product from the pharmacy outlet. But for us, the model that we follow is doctor prescribe our brand, and then it is made available at the pharmacy.
Right.
Okay. That's where a consumer can pick it up from.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we had a significant portfolio in vitamin C. Later on, we got glutathione. Glutathione is a master antioxidant. We are pioneers of glutathione in the country.
Wow.
So we got that brand in the country, and I'm very happy and glad to share that we could assume leadership position in glutathione. Okay. So today, when it comes to glutathione, our brand Glutone is the number 1 brand in the dermatological market.
Wow.
Okay.
What exactly does it do, glutathione?
So glutathione is one molecule which is basically a master antioxidant. It gives you a good glow, radiance. It helps you in improving your complexion.
Okay.
So
it's a consumable. It's a tablet.
We have an entire range. We have almost 25 SKUs in this segment. So
Wow.
right from oral solutions to topical, we have got the entire offering in this particular market.
So R&D is done in-house? Is that something that you guys do in-house and you own the patency of that product?
No. So what we have done is this molecule we have in license from a Japanese company called Kwahako.
Okay.
So Kwahako has this molecule, and in India we have got them product
Okay.
from.
So you have the IP to sell it in India.
We have marketing rights from them to market in the
Great,
country.
great.
Yeah.
So coming to, I think...
Yeah, so I was just talking about, so with these 2 products we have gotten, so the point what I'm trying to drive over here is innovation is the key, and we could build in multiple molecules, vitamin C, glutathione, ceramosides, which is your oral moisturizer. You pop in a pill and it gives you hydration from head to toe.
Wow.
So that's again an innovative. While the entire world is on topical solution, we have developed a pill which gives you hydration from head to toe.
Nice.
So that is something which really has been our solid point. So these brands actually gave us a lot of strength during COVID. And I'm very happy to share that during COVID period, it is because of this portfolio we could sell through. no doubt for dermatology, you mentioned that pharmaceutical company did very well. That's not the fact. In fact, the segment that we are into, okay, dermatology was one of the most hit segment during COVID period.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I can
But
assume. Yeah.
since we had vitamin portfolio, we could sustain
Yeah.
it. However, whatever stocks that we had, we could sell it out in couple of days, and then later on for a couple of months we had absolutely nothing but to work around and get supply chain in place.
Right,
Okay?
because everybody was selling immunity and vitamin C
Yes,
was
so
like
we also
prima
did a lot
facie.
of we also play we marketed glutathione because glutathione also is a molecule which had proven efficacy in building up immunity.
Oh, nice.
So we created awareness about glutathione. Okay, we adopted some program wherein we could reach out to the masses and build up awareness about vitamin C and glutathione, and that really helped us in selling through that tough period.
Nice,
Okay,
nice.
even during this period, I'm happy to share that we could take good care of our team, and we could pay all our team
Yeah.
full salary and everything. So that's how it has been
Great,
yeah.
great. So, coming back to the current status, I mean, what exactly is the future plans? I mean, like for the next 5 years, what kind of vision do you have for Adroit Biomed in the next 5 years?
Okay. So, like I said, that we want to be innovation-driven company. Today, we have a very solid productivity when it comes to per rep, contribution per month. We have a unique business model wherein today we have classified D2C business and our traditional prescription business. So these are the two businesses we want to build in. We want to give we want to get in new innovative products in the country and kind of build this business to the next level. And yes, so and we want to venture into some niche aspects of dermatology. So that's something which we are working. That's one area where our team is working upon. So yeah, those plans are being worked upon.
You mentioned about D2C. That is something that I really focus on because that's my core forte.
Yeah.
Being a prima facie B2B business, because you normally that is how you've been functioning for all these years, that
We are a B2C company.
B2C, but
Yeah.
like doctor
Doctors, yeah.
prescribed.
Yes.
But now that you're directly trying to be into the D2C space,
Yeah.
how's that journey been for you? I mean, did you face any problems, or what kind of brand have you been trying to build in the D2C space?
Yeah. So you know what? D2C business has been a serendipitous discovery for us. We never really planned a structured way of taking the brand to the market.
Okay.
As I mentioned about Glutone, our brand. Okay. This one brand was, I would say, promoted by one of doctor. Okay. And he made a YouTube video out of that brand, which got in very good traction. And then we saw that there was a sudden spurt in sales. And when we tried to deep dive into it, we did realize that it is because of this video. There has been a great amount of awareness which was happening in. Suddenly there was improved visibility. So we kind of worked around that space, and over a period of time we had a very strategic outlook towards this molecule, towards this brand.
Okay.
And then we took one brand and then we had a separate team. So we have kind of separated those brand from our portfolio, unlike the doctor business that we have in.
Yeah.
And then we deployed a specialized team, and then that particular brand has worked.
So how big is, like, just let's dive down deep into both the aspects. So what kind of revenue is Adroit Biomed does it in a year? I mean, in a financial year, how much is the sales of Adroit Biomed
So
totally?
last year we crossed 50 crores mark.
Wow.
Okay. And this brand Glutone is our flagship brand. We do around 30 crores of
From a single SKU?
Single brand. Yeah.
Single brand, but that includes some multiple SKUs, but that one molecule
that one brand Glutone is a 30 crores.
And how much is the D2C that you're trying to build up?
That's a small aspect, which is around 13 crores out of this 30 crores.
Wow. So what do you envision for the future?
See, I'm not too obsessed with number, to be very honest. I personally feel that if you have the right systems and process in place, numbers will follow its course.
Okay.
You need to have a right strategy, a right product mix to build up a brand. And later on, once you have those right elements in place, numbers will follow.
Right.
Okay, if you start chasing numbers, I personally feel that you will not be able to achieve the desired outcome that you are planning to get from that particular
Right, because I
source.
mean, normally that is what young entrepreneurs, I mean, when they enter the startup,
Right.
it's all about valuation. They want to get the
Yes.
numbers, they want to get the funding because they have that
Right,
valuation
right,
number to
right.
achieve. But it's good to know that you're not in that number. But
Yeah.
still, I mean, since it's a bootstrapped company, that is what
Yeah.
I've been assuming. And
Yes.
now that you build it into a 50 crore company, eventually, is there a plan in action to get in a IPO? Is that like kind of the final thing wherein you want Adroit Biomed to be like a listed company?
See, we are a limited company, Adroit Biomed Limited. Okay, I personally feel that at this point of time we have defined ourselves some set milestones to achieve in, and later on let's see what's in destiny.
Nice.
So there are multiple options. You might talk about IPO, you might talk about getting equity funding. So for us, there are multiple routes which are available in.
Mhm.
So I would leave it for time to take its course of action.
Great. Also, there's one more thing I wanted to explore. Like since you explored this avenue of entrepreneurship, and normally I talk to every entrepreneur that I talk to. How is it when it comes to personal finance? So how does that shape up for you? Like how have you explored? Because you said when you get into the shoes of an entrepreneur, you need to take over about everything.
Right.
You need to be an HR manager, you need to be a finance guy, you need to be like a marketing guy, everything.
Right.
But there is one fact of life where you miss out, which is personal finance. How is that something that you have taken seriously, or is it like left out and you just focus on your company? How has that been for you?
See, I personally feel while I have planned basic finances, okay, money it's quite how would I put it? Um, it's quite tricky, okay. While I have taken care of my personal finances when it comes to the safety, the security, so those points have been taken in. But I personally feel that the kind of assets that I'm building with Adroit, that's my financial security for the rest of the life. That's how
Wow.
I will put it across. While you have the basic investments and everything, and today, thankfully, when the company is building up, you can take care and you can manage your lifestyle.
Right,
Okay.
right.
But a true asset, I will say, would actually transform when Adroit really builds up. So that's what I've been doing in. And I have been managing my personal finances quite meticulously. That way, I'm pretty organized. I do understand finances very well.
Right.
And with Adroit, now I kind of have quite deep driven into it. And now I got a very good understanding of what to do, what not to do. At least I can now very confidently say that these things I won't do.
Okay.
ये thing करना है, ये नहीं करना है.
Okay.
Okay, so that's why I've been pretty
Nice. And there's one more thing, like because it's a company that you envisioned and you have value system in place, you want it to long last. When it comes to succession planning, is that like you have some inputs on that? Do you have you planned anything for that?
I don't think, I feel it's too early.
Okay.
To do a succession planning, and see, we are a bunch of professionals who have come in together now.
Right,
Okay,
right.
we have got multiple professional who takes care of each of the operational area.
Okay.
And I don't think it's too early for us to really think about succession planning and everything. But at this point of time, the key is how would you nurture the seed which has turned into a sapling,
Right.
now into a plant, and how can we
Make it grow big.
more big is what we have to kind of look at.
Nice. Coming to the last section of the podcast, it's been a great journey and a roller coaster ride throughout this podcast that we have been talking about. Like we discussed earlier also, the whole agenda of this podcast is to basically create awareness.
Yeah.
I talk to entrepreneurs from all facets, from all industries, so that I can educate the audience, my audience, as well as the youth, that there are people who have created a significant name and achieved something of their own, and they can envision for themselves, even if they are from one industry, they can jump and create a name for themselves in another industry, right? So the whole agenda of creating this podcast was that I could talk to you, but I would like to hear some piece of advice for my audience, my viewers, so that if they want to achieve or they want to try entrepreneurship, what exactly would you address them?
So entrepreneurship, I personally feel, is a beautiful journey, and I personally feel that if India has to build up, we have to have multiple entrepreneurs to come in. Okay. Today, I feel that government is putting in a lot of efforts in building entrepreneurship to create awareness about entrepreneurship. I'm associated with a couple of institutes and few communities, which actually create awareness about entrepreneurship. So I'm on industry advisory board of Vivekanand College and from Bharati Vidyapit College, from where I graduated.
Right.
Okay.
Nice.
And we have been we have been creating content and workshops around entrepreneurship. I personally feel that today's youth has lot of excitement, okay, lot of energy. They want to be an entrepreneur. However, I personally feel that we should have multiple platforms where their basic doubts would be clarified. I strongly when we started, I strongly remember at that point of time we had very limited understanding.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
When I interact with today's youth, I do understand that they are far better read than us. They're far better aware of different opportunities, different business ideas, about the schemes which government is enrolling in. Okay, so I would say that today, as compared to when we started off, the environment has changed.
Okay.
Today, government policies are very encouraging. Okay, the ecosystem is quite evolved.
Right.
Okay, and I personally feel that it is the right time. Now, see, success and failure is part and parcel of life, but how you approach your idea is very, very important.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
For young entrepreneurs, I would personally advise that you kind of list down the idea which you want to work upon. Okay, and unless and until your idea is differentiated, okay, there is innovation. Innovation could be in any form. It could be in a form of a product or a service or a both. Right. Combined mix of both. Okay, so you have to have that differentiation in your idea. If you try to go for a Me Too route, chances of you kind of not making it big is
very common.
Very, 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 very high. Okay, so you are likely to fail, and that's where they say that almost 3 out of 10 companies fail in first year of their launch. Okay?
Right. Right.
And that's where it is very, very important. Second thing, you have to be passionate. Okay, if you're not passionate, I would say that it will be really difficult for you to kind of withstand the challenges and pressure of being an entrepreneur. Normally, as an entrepreneur, at the top you're all alone, so you don't have anybody to share your challenges.
Right.
Okay,
that's it.
And it's your passion which will keep you reminding about your goal, and it will help you give that energy and enthusiasm to drive in. Okay?
Right.
Second thing, I would say that you have to be perseverant. You have to have that perseverance. It is very, very important that you have that perseverance to not let it go. As I kept, in the early phase, I said that it is Bappa's blessing which has helped me keep going in. But when I look back and I say that it's been perseverance also,
right,
which has helped me kind of whenever there was a challenge, multiple opportunity came up. The reason the multiple opportunities could come because we are perseverant. If we would have let go on, I think we would not be really doing it. Next thing that I would like to talk to entrepreneur is have a good financial understanding. One thing which I have seen with many entrepreneurs, they don't understand financial numbers at all.
Okay.
If you ask an entrepreneur last month whether did you make profit or did you book loss, and I can confidently tell 8 out of 10 will not be aware whether they made profit or they booked loss. Okay. So without having financial understanding, we would not be able to achieve our objective.
Right.
And if you have that cognizance and understanding of financials, you will be able to plan yourself better.
Perfect.
And this is something which many entrepreneurs feel. I do understand entrepreneurs from different facets of life, they will not understand the financial part of it. You might need a good CFO to back you up. However, as an entrepreneur, at least you should know whether your business is profit making or it's a loss making.
Right.
Without that understanding, it will be difficult for one to run their operations. And today I personally feel, with the kind of evolution which has happened in the industry and in the country, you will not starve for funds if your business idea has a merit.
Right. Perfect.
You will be able to raise funds by some or the other manner. You will have either an angel investor, or there are multiple people, friends, families. If they believe in you, they will invest into you. So that is something which is very, very important. One more important point which I would like to strongly advise the young entrepreneur is, they should know how they should structure their company.
Okay. Right.
Now, this is very, very important aspect, because I strongly feel that there are a few mistakes. You can't correct it once you have built up a successful business, and this I'm talking from my real life example.
Okay.
I personally feel that when we kind of launched Adroit, I did not take that. I would not say interest. I would say that at that point of time, probably I was never having that kind of understanding of how to structure an organization. When I talk about structuring of organization, it is about what kind of equity that you should be holding in, what kind of equity an investor has to own it, what kind of equity you should offer to your co-founder.
Wow.
So all these things are extremely, extremely important.
Mm-hmm.
Many a times, especially the first generation entrepreneur, they don't understand what it is.
Right. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
If you have a right person with you, that's not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you don't have a right person around you, chances are that you might be taken for an advantage, and you will lose out significantly when you have built up your organization. And this I'm talking from my real life example. Okay, and this is one major learning that I have from my entrepreneurial instinct.
Nice.
Okay.
Great.
So these are a few things which I feel are very, very important for
anybody who wants to
be
an entrepreneur, start up his own company.
Yes.
Thank you. That was kind of like a crash course or a master class on how to start your own company and be an entrepreneur. Thank you, Sushant, for coming to this podcast, and I enjoyed this meaningful discussion. I think we talked about all facets of your life, right from your childhood to your current status, and that actually kind of makes me it's kind of encouraging to understand and know that you achieved all these things in the days that I didn't know about you, right? So yeah, on that note, we'd like to conclude this podcast. Thank you for watching this podcast, and if you like this show, please subscribe to this channel, and please share this video with everybody who wants to try entrepreneurship. Thank you.